be considered a long distance relationship. Sometimes long distance looks like people in two different states or even two different countries. And so the amount of distance does not lessen the effects of having physical distance between two people. And this is where the problem lies for a lot of people who are in love with somebody who may not be living in the same space as them or within a few miles of them. And if anyone has questions of any kind around this topic, or even if you have general questions around sexual health or sexual pleasure, feel free to drop them in the chat. And Anna will be monitoring the chat and we will be taking questions throughout this process. So there are some common issues, y'all, when it comes to, oh, let me double back here. So long distance relationships, who are they for? They are for any person that feels comfortable with being able to maintain relationships at a distance. Some people know themselves and they know that if a person is not physically in front of them, they will not be able to maintain a relationship because it's just too difficult for them to be able to establish an emotional connection. So long distance relationships are for those that I will say have a more developed emotional intelligence, those who have the capacity to be able to stick to schedules and to be able to hold a person in the forefront of their mind where they're not out of sight, out of mind. So if a person doesn't have to be in front of you, but you can still think about them, you can still feel their presence, you can still feel their love, then a long distance relationship will be for you. And listen, I always say just because it exists does not mean that it's for you. A long distance relationship is an option, but you have to be real with self. If you know that you do not maintain relationships at a distance well, don't kid yourself and don't say what the other person wants to hear just to maintain relationship with them in some capacity. If you know you are not going to be able to be there for them in the way that they need, then don't enter into a long distance relationship. Okay. Why do people do this? People do this for a number of reasons. Sometimes their jobs, I'm sorry, there is an alarm going off in the background. Please forgive me for that. So sometimes people enter into long distance relationships because their job or their work takes them away from where their partner is currently living. Sometimes people move because of the military. I see this often where one partner, or sometimes, well, one partner is in the military and then they have to get deployed to work in a different country. And so the relationship goes from them being housed together or nesting together to now living separate. Sometimes there are business trips that may take one partner away from the home for an extended amount of time. Sometimes people are displaced from their homes. And what's really common now is people meeting each other on the internet. So dating apps and social media. You connect with somebody through the interweb.